I'll just give a few introductory comments, and then we'll introduce the speakers. This is really more a continuation of the previous session, and some of the discussions that have preceded you will find are continued here. As you've heard, Ukrainian studies in Canada began around 1949. The post-war emigration started them, and many of the core programs at that time in Ukrainian studies were housed within Slavic studies. Many of these programs and these courses are now shutting down. Others have survived, have morphed, have been restructured in different ways. And this panel is a good opportunity for us to review some of the developments, see how some of the restructuring has taken place, some of the new courses, the new programs have been created. Ukrainian studies within Slavic studies, departments of Slavic studies have always been small, often just one or two people. They've always had limited possibilities. Nothing has changed within those structures. What has changed, however, is the tolerance of university administrations towards small programs with limited enrollments. And there's a very strong danger of them disappearing. Several have already disappeared, and many of them are under great pressure. Even at the University of Alberta, if you've read a recent letter circulated by Natalia Pilypiuk, you will see that this is a strong possibility. These programs have been the traditional ones. They've often fed into graduate studies, fed students into graduate studies. The professors in these programs have been the Ukrainianist, often on campus, the one who lobbied for Ukrainian studies in other departments, in other areas, in other programs. They've often been the chief spokesman for Ukrainian issues locally, the community organizer, and the resource person in general. But this traditional model of Ukrainian studies within Slavic studies departments or programs is not the only one, as we've already heard in previous sessions, in previous panels. There are different ways of structuring these programs, and they have now become more and more available. Slavic studies has always been allied to other disciplines, and it has to be, particularly in those areas which don't have in those universities that don't have chairs. We need to become more mainstream. We need to be able to attract students and to create programs that are interdisciplinary. And this is very clear from the discussions that we've just had in the previous session. Another thing that is happening is that after the Second World War, there were many people in different programs, in different disciplines, in different departments who happened to be of Ukrainian origin. These could be drawn on for various programs. These people are now disappearing. I know at my university, University of Manitoba, several people have retired recently from economics, from political studies, from history. They happen to be of Ukrainian origin or Ukrainian background, and they were able and interested in teaching courses in those departments. They have now gone. So we need to look at other models. We need to look at other ways of structuring the teaching and delivering courses. Often these need to be done, I think, as we'll shortly hear from our panelists, through an interdisciplinary approach. And the key always in developing interesting courses is to make them relevant, make them in tune with contemporary developments, to respond to the exhortations of university administrations, and to find funding. Each participant in our panel today, in our session today, can help us understand the successes and the drawbacks of particular approaches, explain the model for delivery of courses that their university has developed. Student numbers is always a great challenge, and so these courses have to be attractive. But we have a wealth of experience in Slavic studies, many years of innovative programming. We've heard just at the last panel, for example, the successes of summer courses abroad, which are a big draw now and which really transform students when they visit Ukraine. We've heard about delivery of courses through distance education, through computer programming, through blended learning, that is learning in which the community is engaged. All these are really, really useful, and I'm sure that we're going to hear a lot more here. Another theme that's come up is how do we understand student interest? How do we analyze student interest? Even at the high school level, as one of the students mentioned, we need to find out where the students are at, what they want, what they expect. And lastly, I just wanted to mention that if we want to preserve positions at the university, have positions at the universities, we have to have interesting courses. Universities will not hire instructors, scholars, professors if the numbers are not there. So we need to really think hard about this. Before we can network, before we can have mega projects, we have to have individuals who actually are teaching at the universities. And at most universities, we don't have chairs. We need to have positions at these places. So there's lots to talk about, lots of advice that these people can offer. The first person that I'm going to introduce is Dominique Arel. He's chair of Ukrainian Studies. And his area is, he's a professor of political science. The second person is Bogdan Kordan. His program is housed in St. Thomas More College, and he's the director, he's in political studies, but he's the director of the Prairie Center for the Study of Ukrainian Heritage. Taras Koznarsky is in the Department of Slavic Languages and Literatures at the University of Toronto. Alena Dashkivska is in the Department of Modern Languages and Cultural Studies here at the University of Alberta, but she's also acting director of the Language and Educational Center in Kyiv. So there's a range of programs in which they are engaged, and it's a different format in each case. And our discussant is Heather Coleman, who is in the Department of History and Classics, but also a director of the program in Religion and Culture in Kyiv. So the first speaker, Dominique.